Hey everyone, this is Sam from PrismScroll. Been a couple days again, getting over convention lag. We should be back to normal this week and got a few interesting things to show you today in iCloud, which we brought on Friday or Saturday last week, which is really exciting to be able to back up your characters and things like that. So I'll kind of go over where that is, how to use it a little bit, and then kind of the vision, and then also kind of what I worked on today. So we'll start with iCloud. Basically, how iCloud is going to work at the moment is you're going to manually save a character to the cloud. So you can do that by accessing the character menu options, which you can find if you swipe. There's the menu button that you can press, or you can press the three dot ellipse button as well, and that brings up this menu here. And you'll see that there is another option now available, which is update iCloud. So basically, if you press that button, it's going to search the cloud and see if there is a matching character, and then it's going to add it. It's going to add it if it doesn't exist, or it's going to update the current version with your local version. So that is how you would update your character. We'll add a couple other places of maybe where you can do that inside the sheet. Maybe we'll put it down here somewhere in the tray. But at the moment, that is where you can update that. And then in order to see, let's say you uninstalled the app and you're coming back and you had some characters in the cloud, you can go to the settings by pressing the top left button. And then at the bottom, there is a new button called iCloud Storage. And if you press that, it will load all the characters that you have saved in your cloud storage. It takes a little bit of time. I had discussed a little bit on the Discord about how to make this a little bit faster. I have some things programmatically I can do, but as well, something that makes it slower is saving images. So I think giving you guys the option of if you want to save the image or not is going to be something to deal with. So here is the iCloud interface. You'll see all your characters, custom and standard, and then when they were last updated. So that will kind of give you an idea of what they are. If you press on one, it will show the details. So let's say you don't know exactly what it is. Let's say you have a ton of characters, right? It will show kind of what they are, what level, race, and background. If you guys have any suggestions on what else you might want to see in this kind of description, basically this is not referencing any of the saved information. It's kind of just a generated description when you save it to the cloud. So if you have maybe some other options would be how many spells or what spells you have saved and things like that. So this is the cloud. So if you press on one, and then you'll see down here at the bottom, there's some options. You can delete it or you can import it. So I think now that I think about it, we want to just an import all option. But at the moment, you could just be like, let's say I have my character River. We can import him. Press yes. So that will save it. Some things to note. Basically, iCloud is only going to save characters at this moment, which means you're still going to need the batch file before you import. So basically, characters reference custom creation items so that when you make changes to, let's say I had a typo in a race feature or something, it will still reference that information rather than having it duplicated for every new character you make. So you're going to need to import the batch before you access your iCloud. This might get tricky, as I mentioned, or I kind of am suspecting is, let's say you created a custom class or race or subclass, and it's not something that's in the batch or managed by the Discord channel. If you don't have it, you won't be able to import your character, which would be kind of a problem. So I have a couple ideas on how to handle that. Basically, maybe having a flag, a true-false flag on if it was created locally or if it was imported, and then those things would be able to be saved on iCloud as well. So that is how you access your storage. So So moving forward from this is a huge improvement on the backing up your characters. As you can see, I kind of preemptively started on the other features for it. You'll see weekly backups. So basically, once a week, it will save what you currently have locally to the cloud. And then there's also some things that I was kind of thinking about on maybe you back up every time you leave the app. We'll see how it goes, see what you guys think. Let me know if you have any comments or suggestions on that. And then moving forward with iCloud, basically the dream was kind of to create this community where you can share things online. So basically what next steps with this are going to be a feed of custom creation. So let's say you create this awesome new race and you want to share it with the Prism world. Rather than going to the Discord community, you could post it to the cloud or basically our database, and then you would be able to look at all the things that people posted. I posted this 5 minutes ago and it has X number of downloads. Everybody loves it. Maybe you could have likes or something like that. So I think that is pretty close now that I worked with this, and it's a lot way easier than I thought it was going to be. And now we have a ton of extra time because we got it set up, and we thought it was going to be a lot more complicated than it was. Now we have extra time to do extra fancy things like that. So that's kind of the moving forward, kind of the goal for that. And then obviously, sharing things between individual people, so like from one person to the next person rather than sharing it to the world, is also going to be something that we want to do as well. But those are kind of the things with that. As you can see, my character got imported. Yay. So now the last thing that I was working on, I fixed a couple bugs. Last thing that I was working on is damage. So when you save a piece of equipment, you're kind of limited by that damage box, right? So what it used to be in the paper sheet, I'll kind of show you here. In the paper sheet, basically what it did is, if you look at that, it's got spaces in there. So basically what it did, you're limited to 1 dice plus a, flat value extra. So it has spaces in there, and then it separated the string, the text by spaces, and then it kind of figured out what it was. So that was kind of limiting because you only had one dice. What if you wanted to add some extra, what if you did extra lightning damage or something? There's some spells that, or, abilities that give you an extra dice on top of that. So we're trying to remedy that today. So what we're going to introduce is basically when you press on this, it's going to open up the new quick roll interface. So basically this is going to let you add, however, let's say I do an extra 1d4 lightning damage, or maybe I want to save, booming blade, a booming blade special, roll, and I want to, this is, maybe this is the thunder javelin, whatever. So this is going to give you the option to have more than one roll type or more than one damage type in a roll. So as you can see here, it's pretty awesome, pretty versatile. It rolls you to hit as well as the damage at the same time, and it's going to be pretty awesome. So as you can see, this is so much more flexible than having just a single string and then trying to decipher what it actually has. So that is what I had there, and that's going to save with your, each piece of equipment is going to have that as an option. So going off of that, something that else was introduced was saved roles. So basically, let's say you want to create a special role or something. I don't know, a dice check plus with advantage and deception. Why not? So let's say you wanted to save this roll. You can do that now by pressing the little floppy disk. Some people will know what that is. And then you can save that and then give it a name. Advantage stealth check. Boom. or I mean, these things are already kind of in place, but this now when you press on the top right, it's going to open up a menu with all of your saved roles. So this will give you some options to like rename it or delete it or whatever. But this can be populated with whatever you want. So let's say, I mean, for example, I'm my fighter is an Eldritch Knight, Warlock, Hexblade, right? So there's some instances where I get extra bonus damage. Let's say I cast Hex on something or whatever, and I have Hexblade's Curse on as well. Maybe I want to save different instances on when I have Hexblade on my short sword, magical short sword, how much damage does that do? So I'll have like different saved rolls for that. So this will kind of bring the new interface for everyone to play with a bit more, because I don't think everybody knows about this. I mean, they press, damage for, or, proficiency things, like it comes up there, but this will kind of bring it to the forefront on what you can actually do. You're still going to be able to have your roll button down here. That is going to, for the most part, get everything right. And then maybe if you wanted to modify it, you could add some things to it and then save it and then give it a different name. So, yeah, so that's the quick roll. There's still some things that have to be worked out, like updating values. So like your proficiency bonus, it saves the actual proficiency bonus at the time. So let's say you're let's say you're level X and then you move to level Y and it changes your proficiency bonus. Your saved roll is still going to have proficiency bonus of X rather than updating. So that's something that I have to work out before we move forward, but that won't be too hard. So that is where we are. But that is nice to be able to have those saved rolls, because I know that in Dice it's basically replacing this here. So this interface was nice at the time, but we'll be moving forward to the new quick roll interface, so that would be good to get everything kind of in the same spot and not have so many different random tools everywhere. All right, so another long video. We will be back tomorrow for sure, back on normal schedule tomorrow. So stick around. Let's see things we have coming up. The next thing I wanted to work on was when you, let's say you make a selection, like a feat selection. That's not good. Well, I mean, if you make a feat selection, then it will save it to your feats. So it will still show in the feature. So let's say you're a variant human and it lets you pick a feature. It lets you pick a feat. It will show here, but it would also add it to your feats location. Or if it gives you a language choice, it will show up in your proficiencies here as well, or tools, etc., etc. So just basically updating everything in the right spot. But yep, that is that, and that is where we are. So I have to fix that. Thanks for watching, and that is all for today. Later.